Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Tip. My name is Julian and it's Thursday today. So that means that today we're going to be talking about players that you can add for this weekend to help you secure that win if you're already winning, or help you squeak out the win if you're down by a little bit. This week has been an absolute crapshoot of COVID protocol players. There have been so many players placed on COVID protocol, so that's definitely affected you tremendously this week, and it's definitely hurting a lot of teams. Luckily for you, there have been just so many players added to COVID protocol that probably has not just been affecting your team, probably been affecting your opponent as well. Before we get started though, guys, please leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and follow me on Twitter at FantasyTipped. I'm constantly putting out tweets to help you guys win each and every week of the fantasy hockey season. Let's jump right into the content now. Let's take a look at the schedule for this weekend. Now, there are only 6 games on Friday, only 9 games on Saturday now because the Calgary game was just canceled, and 8 games on Sunday. So you honestly probably have room in your lineup all 3 days, especially with all the players now with COVID status on your team, right? So likely you do have room in your lineup on basically any night. So whatever nights you have room for, you go to the section of the video that corresponds to what you want, and you grab guys from that section of the video. The first section is going to be Friday, Saturday games. The second section is going to be Friday, Sunday games. And the third section is going to be Saturday, Sunday games. And they're all going to be forwards. Defenseman is going to be a little bit later. Then I'm going to talk about some goalies that you could stream for Sunday night. And then I'm going to talk about individual categories for categories leagues. So starting off with Friday and Saturday games, like I said, the only 2 teams that play on Friday and Saturday are Chicago and Dallas. So if you want to stream a player for Saturday and for Friday, well, you're going to have to pick a player from this list. The number one guy that I would stream is Jonathan Toews, currently 39% owned and doing a lot better as of late. We all know Jonathan Toews. He's a very good player and definitely the number one streamer for Saturday and for Friday games. Then I got Alexander Radulov of the Dallas Stars. Hasn't been doing that great this season, but he does have the upside of being on the top power play on Dallas with Hintz, with Robertson, and with Pavelski. So that's not a bad place to be. Definitely the upside is there for him to put up a point or 2 on Friday and Saturday. And then I have Borgstrom and Dylan Strome. Whichever one is on that top line with DeBrincat and Kane for this weekend. As of right now, it's Dylan Strome. But the thing is, Borgstrom was in that spot right before he got sick. His sickness is not COVID, so he can easily be back this weekend. And if he is, there's a good chance that he's going back onto that top line. So just keep an eye on that before you add Dylan Strome to your team. Then I got Kirby Dach playing between Kubalik and Kurashev. It's not a terrible place to be. Not my favorite spot either, obviously, but Kirby Dach is a pretty good add, obviously, if you just need those Friday and Saturday games. Then Dominic Kubalik, I just told you, he's playing with Kirby Dach on the third line. Not the best place in the world, but Kubalik is definitely someone who can score a goal or 2. Then Brandon Hagel is currently playing on the second line with Jonathan Toews and Connolly. Not the best line in the world, but Jonathan Toews seems to be heating up a little bit, so Hagel could put up a point or 2. Then I have Denis Gurianov, who's playing on that second line in Dallas with Seguin, which is honestly not the worst place to be. Dallas doesn't do a whole lot offensively, though, aside from that top line. So do temper your expectations if you do grab Gurianov, but it's definitely not a terrible ad. And then if you're really desperate, you can go for Radek Faksa, who's 2% owned, and it's the center, the third line center in Dallas. Really don't love that ad, but it's not the worst ad in the entire world. He still puts up a point every now and then. All right, now jumping into forwards that play on Friday and Sunday. The teams that play on both Friday and Sunday are Arizona, Nashville, Pittsburgh, St. Louis, Vegas, Washington, and Winnipeg. So all the players you're going to see are obviously from those teams. And the number one guy that I would grab is Riley Smith of the Vegas Golden Knights, playing on the second line with Marchessault and William Karlsson. That line has been very good for the past few years now, and Riley Smith should definitely be able to put up some points. Then I have Evan Rodriguez of the Pittsburgh Penguins playing top line with Sidney Crosby and Kasperi Kapanen, and he also gets top power play time in Pittsburgh, and he's been really great this year. Evan Rodriguez is definitely a fantastic ad for this weekend, those Friday and Sunday games. Then I was going to have Ryan Johansson of the Nashville Predators, but he's currently in COVID protocol. It's getting really hard to keep track. There are so many players in there. So instead, number 3, I have Jeff Carter of the Pittsburgh Penguins, 34% owned. He's their second line center and also on that top power play. He's been pretty good all year, so definitely someone who's a pretty good grab for those Friday and those Sunday games. Then I have William Karlsson of the Vegas Golden Knights. Hasn't been that amazing so far since returning from injury with only 2 points in 5 games, but he's on a really good second line with Riley Smith and Jonathan Marchessault, and they've been really good for a couple years now. So William Karlsson is definitely someone who's a safe bet to put up a point or two for those Friday and Sunday games. Then I have Ivan Barbashev of the St. Louis Blues, and he's centering a line with Buchnevich and Tarasenko, and Buchnevich is just super hot right now, and Barbashev is doing really well himself. Definitely a fantastic ad for those weekend games. And then I have Clayton Keller, who, like I've been saying in past videos, is really hot right now. Definitely a good player to add for those games. Then I have Eli Tolvanen, and with Ryan Johansson out of the lineup due to being placed on COVID IR, Tolvanen is now on the top power play in Nashville. And he's been playing really well lately, so definitely, honestly, makes for a pretty good ad right now. Then I have Brandon Saad, who's playing top line with Ryan O'Reilly in second power play, which is honestly pretty decent deployment, and he's actually been pretty decent all year. I'm surprised he's so low owned. Next I have Kasperi Kapanen, and I could have him higher on this list. Honestly, he's playing top line with Rodriguez and Crosby, and that's all you really need to know. Good place to put up some points. Next, I have Paul Stastny of the Winnipeg Jets, and with Wheeler being injured, Paul Stastny is now elevated to the top line with Mark Scheifele and Nikolaj Ehlers. That's an amazing place to be. He's also on that second power play unit, and both units in Winnipeg usually get a decent amount of power play time. Stastny is someone with a really big opportunity right now. Then I have Phil Kessel of the Arizona Coyotes on that top line with Keller, and just like Keller, he's been putting up a lot of points lately. Definitely makes for a pretty decent ad if you need a couple of points this weekend. Then I have Garnett Hathaway of the Washington Capitals, and I'm assuming that by this weekend he's going to be activated off the COVID IR. If he's not, obviously don't add him, but he's definitely someone who could put up a point or two, given how well he's been performing this season so far. Then I have Tanner Gienot, who's been a pleasant surprise all year round. He has 4 points in his last 5 games. He's playing on a not that great third line with Trennan and McCarron right now, but he's still managing to put up the points. So as long as he's still putting up points, Gienot is someone that I don't mind adding right now. Then I have Evgeny Dadonov and Nick Roy of the Vegas Golden Knights. They both play on the third line in Vegas, which obviously isn't the best place to be in Vegas, but Vegas is a great team, and they both have a decent opportunity to put up some points. Moving on to Saturday and Sunday games now. So if you want to stream a forward for both Saturday and Sunday, these are the teams that you should be targeting: Boston, Carolina, the Los Angeles Kings, New Jersey, Ottawa, Seattle, Toronto, and Vancouver. Now, one thing to note is that Carolina does have a pretty big breakout right now of COVID, so there's a possibility that their games end up getting canceled. This is basically the situation with almost every team in the NHL right now, so stay tuned and make sure that these games are actually being played. And if a team has their games canceled, make sure that these teams aren't one of their opponents, right? Because then you won't get 2 games this weekend. You may only get 1. So just make sure before you pick up anyone that their games haven't been canceled, so try to wait as long as possible to pick up some players. So first on the list of guys that I would stream for Saturday and Sunday, if Josh Norris is available at 59% owned, if he's available in your league right now, you absolutely have to grab this guy and hold on to him. Not just for this weekend, because Ottawa is insanely hot right now. Josh Norris has 10 points in his last 8 games, and he's looking like a really good number 1 center. You're going to want to grab him and hold him for the rest of the season. Then I have Jesper Bratt of the New Jersey Devils, who's also looked really good this year. He's been their number 1 guy this year for New Jersey, and as long as this guy stays hot, you're going to want to hold him on your team. Definitely a great streamer, though, for Saturday and Sunday. Then I have Victor Arvidsson of the Los Angeles Kings. He's a guy who shoots the puck a lot and therefore has every single opportunity to put up goals and to put up points. Definitely someone I'm liking streaming for this weekend. Then I have Ondrej Kase of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and this dude is insanely hot right now. He's playing on the top line with Austin Matthews, also on that top power play, and he's putting up a lot of points right now. He is a must add. Then I have Jordan Eberle and Jaden Schwartz of the Seattle Kraken, along with the next guy on this list, Jared McCann. They form the top line in Seattle. And yeah, they haven't been the hottest as of late, but they definitely have a good opportunity to put up some points this weekend. Then I have Tim Stutzla of the Ottawa Senators, plays on that top power play and on the second line with Formanton and Connor Brown. And they're doing really well right now. Ottawa is just super hot, and you just want a piece of that whole team right now, really. Then I got Michael Bunting of the Toronto Maple Leafs, plays on that top line with Austin Matthews and Ondrej Kase. He's not as hot as the other 2 guys that I just mentioned, but he's still someone who can put up some points this weekend. Then I have Adrian Kempe, who plays top line with Anze Kopitar. Definitely has an opportunity there. Then I have Dano and Yafalo, who play on that second line in LA, along with Victor Arvidsson, who I already mentioned on this list. Definitely guys who can put up some points. Then I have Charlie Coyle, plays second line, second power play in Boston, although he may end up being top power play now that Bergeron is out of the lineup, so he definitely got a pretty good opportunity ahead of him here for the next few games. Then I have Connor Brown and Alex Formenton of the Ottawa Senators. Both guys are playing on the second line with Tim Stützle, like I mentioned, and both guys are very hot right now. Just like the entirety of the Ottawa Senators team, Alex Formenton is 0% owned right now, so definitely makes for a really good grab in deep leagues. And last but not least, I have Tanner Pearson of the Vancouver Canucks playing on a line with JT Miller and Brock Besser. That's a pretty good place to be right now. Don't mind me some Tanner Pearson for this weekend. Now, if you need some defensemen on your team, these 6 defensemen listed here are all playing on Friday and on Sunday. Number 1 guy I grabbed is Shane Gostisbehere. Number 2 is Justin Falk. Number 3, Nate Schmidt. Number 4, Nicola Hague. Number 5, Colton Parayko. Number 6, Josh Morrissey. Schmidt and Morrissey are both on that second power play in Winnipeg. It's not a bad power play, and they get a decent amount of ice time. Then if you want some Saturday and Sunday defensemen, the number 1 guy for me is Mark Giordano of the Seattle Kraken. Not my favorite grab in the world. I'm not sure if he's going to end up getting top power play or second power play. Either way, both units in Seattle end up getting a decent amount of ice time, and Giordano should put up some decent peripherals as well. Not my favorite option, though. Then I have Jakob Slavin of the Carolina Hurricanes. Shouldn't really be getting too much power play time now that D'Angelo and Pesce are back, but Slavin's someone who's honestly been pretty solid all year, which has been pretty surprising for me. He's been putting up some decent peripherals. Then I have Matt Roy, 3% owned, is another guy who's been really solid all year, been putting up some decent peripherals, and has managed to put up a point every few games. Then I have Oliver Ekman-Larsson of the Vancouver Canucks, someone I haven't been high on really this year, but he does have those Saturday and Sunday games. And he's someone who does shoot the puck a decent amount, and he'll block some shots here and there. So not my least favorite player in the world, but definitely not my favorite option. Then I have Brett Pesce of the Carolina Hurricanes, who gets power play 2 times, assuming that Carolina does end up playing this weekend and the games don't get canceled. Pesce is a pretty decent option to get you a point, hopefully, in 2 games. And then I got Esa Lindell and Ryan Suter of the Dallas Stars. If you need Friday and Saturday games, they're guys who could potentially put up points. And Lindell puts up some pretty decent peripherals as well. Now, if you need a goalie to stream on Sunday, the number 1 goalie that I would stream is Yaroslav Halak. Assuming that he doesn't get the start on Saturday, they do have a back-to-back, so Halak would get the start on Sunday against a terrible Arizona Coyotes team. That would be an amazing streamer right there. Almost a guaranteed win based on how good the Canucks have been lately. Pretty good streamer. Then my number 2 guy to stream would be Peter Mrazek against the Seattle Kraken. He's 48% owned, so he's not necessarily available in your league, but if he doesn't start on Saturday, makes it for a pretty good streamer against a Seattle team that has not been that good this year. Then I got Antti Raanta, who would be playing against Nashville without Ryan Johansson. Not the worst streamer in the world. Carolina's been one of the better teams in the league, so definitely a good opportunity to put up a win there. Then I have Quick or Cal Peterson, whoever ends up getting that start on Sunday. One of them is going to start on Saturday. One of them is going to start on Sunday. So whoever ends up getting that start, they're going to face Washington, which is not an easy matchup by any means. But Los Angeles has not been an easy team to beat at any point this season. Then I actually have Scott Wedgwood of the Arizona Coyotes playing against Vancouver in Vancouver. Obviously not the best opportunity to win, but if you're desperate and you need a goalie, Wedgwood should get the start on Sunday. Obviously wait for the confirmation because it could end up being Vejmelka. Then my second to last priority goalie would be Chris Driedger of the Seattle Kraken. Don't love the matchup against Toronto. Toronto's been really good, and Seattle's goalies have been really leaky, so really not someone I want to be starting unless I'm desperate and there's nobody else. And then my last option would be Akira Schmid, probably someone you've never even heard of. New Jersey Devils, their backup goalie right now because Bernier is injured, and they play back-to-back games on Saturday and Sunday, so in all likelihood, Akira Schmid is going to play one of those games. And if he plays against Pittsburgh, I'm not liking his odds of doing well. Obviously, this guy could be great, but he's never played in the NHL before, so I'm tempering my expectations. Now, jumping into the categories league section of this video, and for shots on goal, if you need shots on goal, the number 1 guy I'm adding is Victor Arvidsson with 4 shots on goal per game. He's been fantastic all year in that department. Then I'd go Dustin Brown with 3.2, Evan Rodriguez with 3.2, Jeff Carter with 3.1, Jesper Bratt with 2.9, Nathan Walker with 3.3 per game. He's only played 4 games so far, though, so I'm definitely tempering my expectations. But Walker's looked pretty decent so far and could maybe put up some points as well. And they got Alex Iafallo, 3.0 per game, and Jason Zucker with 2.8. Now, if you need to catch up on blocks or maintain your lead in blocks, well, the number one guy to grab is Zach Whitecloud, who blocks on average 2.4 times per game. Then Connor Murphy with 2.3, Braden McNabb 2.2, Tyler Myers 2.2, Asa Lindell 2.1, Colton Pareko 2.1, and Jake McCabe 2.1 as well. Jumping into some hits now, and if you need to win your hits category, the number one guy to add for 2 games this weekend is Zach Aston Reese, who hits on average 3.8 times per game. Garnet Hathaway also hits on average 3.8 times per game, assuming he is back and activated off that COVID protocol. Make sure of that before you add him. Then Brandon Tanev is obviously known for his hitting ability, hits 3.4 times per game on average, and does have the upside to put up some points as well. Then I have Jeremy Lauzon, who's only 1% owned, and hits on average 3.3 times per game. Same thing with Connor Clifton, is 0% owned and also hits on average 3.3 times per game. Now, if you need some face-off wins, the number one guy, and it's not even close, it's Jonathan Toews. The dude wins 11.5 face-offs per game, so if you have him for 2 games, you're getting 22 to 23 face-off wins. That's fantastic, and that could definitely help you win that category if you add him. Then Jeff Carter wins on average 10 face-offs per game. Michael McLeod, 9.5. That dude's only 2% owned, so definitely a good add. And then fourth, I have Alexander Weddenberg of the Seattle Kraken, winning on average 8.5 face-offs per game. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. Please leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I hope you guys enjoyed the content today, and I'll catch you in the next episode of Fantasy Tipped.